Will the NIO Group deliver 30,000 vehicles in the month of January? That's the question. And it's pre-market. It's about 7 a.m. Central Time here on Friday, January 30th, as I record this. And my apologies, I meant to get this video out yesterday. But in the meantime, we had this sort of news drop, and that is NIO announcing, maybe not officially. I don't think NIO has actually posted this themselves. However, they'll probably do an update with the actual delivery of the 60,000th all new or the refresh of the ES8. And I wondered if they wouldn't try to hit 20,000 in 2 months in a row, December and January, knowing we had a full month in January with based on the Chinese New Year calendar. I was hopeful that NIO would surprise with big numbers. And we'll talk stock price in just a second because there's some interesting stuff that happened yesterday as well. But I guess I want to ask you this. What's your prediction for the monthly numbers? I have not been doing the weekly numbers, but one of the things that I learned from tracking the weekly data over the last several years is that usually early in the months, the numbers are a little lower for NIO. So when we saw that it took about 18 days, I think, into the month with them announcing the 50,000th unit, I thought, well, gosh, I think the cadence will pick up. I think they'll do more in the latter part of the month. So I won't be surprised when we see this announced, and hopefully we see a 30,000 number for the monthly deliveries. That's my hope. That would be a huge number, and I think it would force folks to start paying more attention. And I'm talking specifically about those on Wall Street. If NIO has the margins that they're hoping to get, and if they do announce a profitable quarter four, and then the target or goal is a full year profitability, even with the investment of 1,000 power swap stations, which is what they've talked about wanting to do with the Gen 5s this year. I think they're going to have partners helping them pay for that. I've covered that in previous videos, but I think that they are positioned to have a shot at full year profitability. And now coming back to Wall Street, and my thinking with that is, when are they going to figure it out? And maybe that's part of what we saw yesterday morning. And let's talk short term and big picture, because short term, let's play both sides of this and go bear versus bull. And this is the post I put out. And the post, I put this out after I saw NIO. I think they traded about 20 million shares in the first 5 or 10 minutes of the trade day. And that was Thursday, January 29th. So I posted this, of course, earlier in the week. Shout out to Laser. I got to give him props for this, because he he was talking about the build up and how we could be ready to see a NIO make a move. Now, will it be an extended move if NIO makes it? I don't know, and I don't think he does either. And frankly, it's one of the hardest things to do, to try and call NIO on the weekly, short term side of things. So shout out to him for trying to do that. But this is what I was talking about yesterday, Thursday. This was the open, and this sell-off came with a lot of the market selling off. So what I thought was interesting is, on the left-hand side, if you'll note, these are the last days where we saw NIO trade over 100 million shares in a single day. And so obviously the volume has been much more subdued since then. Wait, let me double check. Yeah, this was under 100 during the day. Wanted to make sure I wasn't wrong on my info share here. But so over 70 million shares traded yesterday on that Thursday, but over 20 of them right here at the beginning of the day. This could be big money buying, and maybe let's play the bull and bear. Let's say the bear thesis remains intact, and this is a short-term play, because maybe some big street money knows that NIO is going to come in with surprisingly strong delivery numbers. Maybe they're going to play the stock price and trade it off of that, make it move up, take it back down, or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to consider different scenarios here. If we do see NIO start making a big move and continue that move, I think it will still be easiest to track the trade volume on the daily side of things, because again, if we look back in time, and I'm actually going to zoom out, this is with the FTD data. When NIO made that monster move back in 2020, it was on huge volume. It was, I think, 75 days within about 6 months of over 100 million shares traded. And at the same time, we saw the FTDs drop off completely, those white lines. Now, they have obviously been picking up and even spiking recently. So with some of that data still to come, we'll keep tracking it on the channel. But again, I don't want to rule anything out to the upside or downside with NIO. This is a very volatile stock, and this company is at a point where the fundamentals might start catching attention, even of Wall Street traders, even within the year here. And matter of fact, I'll drop a video in case you haven't seen it because I talked about, is there a bit of a bear trap maybe set up for Wall Street and those not paying attention? And maybe we'll see NIO stock price move up significantly, in this first or second quarter. I certainly think it's possible, but in the shorter term, the trade volume, FTD, sentiment, all are on my radar, and I'll keep tracking them along the way. But I did think it was kind of interesting to note that volume. And another thought I had is, those folks, and that includes probably some Wall Street firms who maybe sold and took losses at the end of the year, they may still be waiting to buy back in. We may not see some of that big money come back in until February or later based on the wash sale rules. So with that in mind, I don't know, this just gets a little bit more compelling even, I think. So, but let me come back and ask you again in case you didn't put it. Drop your prediction for the delivery number for NIO here in this month of January. Do you think it'll be above, below 30,000? You can get specific if you want. I'll be very happy if we see NIO come in with a 30,000 or better number, and I do think it's possible. But it's nice to get that share of the data from CNV Home. So shout out and thank you for that. Anyway, let me get this thing up and out. I don't even know how long it is. Either way, I'll create some timestamps or chapters to make it an easier watch or listen for those of you who don't want to watch all the way through to the end, but I know some of you did. So thanks for sticking around. I'll see y'all again very soon.